the next movie we watched was.
So you want me to hit him with it? Or you gonna hit him with it? You want me to hit with him? All right. So the next movie we watched was a movie that I've been waiting to get around to. I just been waiting for the right moment to watch it. Real good movie. I'm saying it right now. It's my favorite movie of the year so far. You know, and my first two movies were One Night in Miami and American Skin. Those two movies kept battling, in my opinion. But this movie, I think, is, I won't say better, but I liked it better. You know, the movie that we're talking about, I'm sorry to keep y'all in the dark, you know, just last a little long, keep y'all in the dark a little longer. What movie am I talking about, guys? Got 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Too late. Okay, so the movie that we watched next was Judas and the Black Messiah. I know, right? Exactly. What you just did, exactly. Exactly. That movie was dope. Baby, bust it. Hit him with a little synopsis going on with it.
So ultimately, this movie is about the Black Panther Party. And it just really kind of gives insight into how the whole point of the party was to uphold the Black community, to take care of the Black community, specifically in Chicago.
Fred Hampton, he was the main character in the movie. He led the Chicago chapter of the Black Panthers.
Played by...
Oh my God, my man. What is my guy's name? We're going to put his name up right there.
We're going to pause this.
We're going to put it right there above my head. That's what we're going to put his name at, okay? Full disclosure. We was looking up his name. I know his name is Daniel. It is Daniel Kaluuya. Kaluuya. I'm sorry if we mispronounced your name, man. It's no disrespect, dude. We loved you in that movie, dude. You was amazing. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead, baby. Continue. My bad.
So...
He played Fred Hampton. Sorry. Yes, he played Fred Hampton in the movie.
And so ultimately, it followed Fred Hampton and his efforts in trying to lead the Black Panther Party and even trying to unite the Black Panther Party, this specific chapter, with other organizations in Chicago whose mission was to take care of the people. Right. But it also showed how there was basically a rat. So...
I'm sorry, guys, but the whole mole rat situation, you know, if you know anything about the Black Panther, specifically Fred, then you heard about this, you know. May have been a rumor to some not, especially if you've seen the documentary Eye on the Prize too. I'll get to that later. Remind me, guys, to talk about that later in the video, okay? What happens is the government, the FBI, they get a black man, because it's easy to infiltrate. Get a black man, infiltrate the Black Panthers, you know, try and dig up as much dirt on them as you can. It's specifically Fred, because if you cut off the head, what the body gonna do? It's gonna drop. It can't stand a chance. So try to get as much damaging evidence as you can on Fred and the Black Panthers to paint them as a terrorist group similar to the KKK.
Yep. That's
the way they thought. So they went to go get a guy named Bill, which played by my boy Lakeith. She ain't feeling Lakeith at this movie. I'll just say that much. When I say he acted his part off, he acted his part off. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say the real word. He acted his part off, for real. Anytime to make you, because I cringed a little bit, because I'm not used to him playing this type of role.
Got himself into some stuff, you know, and the police beat him or whatever, and they basically gave him a choice. You know, he was imitating a federal agent, pretending like he was FBI, right? And so they basically told him that, you know, you're facing at least 5 years in jail if you go to court and face this felony, or you can help us out. And he took the help you out route, you know? And so that's how he really kind of, because he was already kind of involved, right?
In what?
Or was he not involved, now that I think about it, in the Black Panther Party?
Oh, no. He was just some regular con artist that liked to steal the cars. That's all he was.
So I wonder how he...
infiltrated?
So that's crazy, because he really worked his way in quick.
He was a con artist. Yes, he just showed up one day at an open, free, I guess it was a seminar or whatever Fred was doing at the time. And he showed interest, and he caught Fred's attention. you know, and he just kind of built his way up the chain, you know, of lieutenant to head of the security, you know, and he did that over years. This wasn't a few months, this was years in, so this was dedicated. He was a dedicated informant for this FBI agent, you know, and at the time, the G-Men, they were ran by J. Edgar Hoover, you know. They just didn't like the fact that black people had someone that not only was radical, but was smart. You know, they knew the laws. And they was for helping the people.
I think what was crazy is, okay, they really went to the extreme to capture him, like to capture Fred. What they ended up doing is, after they got all this information, and he wasn't the only rat. Apparently there were some other rats involved somewhere or another, and the way that they ended up getting him to separate him from everyone was accusing him of stealing $70 or $75 worth of ice cream.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
This is real stuff, guys. This actually happened. But you gotta remember, this was in the late 60s. So they could do anything they want to do. It wasn't like it was going to hit social media. It wasn't going to hit your local news. Because back then, local news was literally local news. You weren't going to hear anything going on in Chicago if you lived on the east side of LA. You won't hear anything going on in East St. Louis if you lived on the south side of Philly. That's just not how it worked. You was just going to hear what was going on in your area. So they could do anything they want to do. They put that man 2 to 5 years for stealing or allegedly stealing $70 worth of ice cream. They gave him 2 to 5 years. He ended up doing what, 5-6 months or something like that.
Yeah.
And he got out on an appeal. And during the time he was locked up prior to the appeal, that's when Bill went rapid. Because they had no other leader. He was the next in line. So that's when he got boosted up to the head of security. So he had more grab, he had more leverage, he had more access, you know. And during that time, that's when they came and took over. You know, they blew their headquarters up, the Black Panthers headquarters, they blew it up.
And they sent this information to Fred while he was locked up. Like,
yes.
Look what we can do type stuff.
So he's in the cell, in the hole, because they put him in the hole. And one of the security guards slid a newspaper clipping in of the bombing of his headquarters. And can you imagine being in that dark room and you reading that your place is blown up? You think about, is my people in there? Is my girl in there? Was it innocent children? You know, you start thinking about all of that, you know?
And then all the work that you done, everything that you stood for, all of that was basically ruined. But amazingly, I think that Bill, like, I'm gonna give him a little bit of I feel like his guilt was really overcoming him. And I think that a lot of what he did to help the situation is because it was fed by that guilt. Like, for instance, when this happened, he ended up rebuilding, and it wasn't just him. And actually, now that I think about it, he didn't want to rebuild initially. Initially, he was like, you know, it's over with, ready to push it forward. But then the Crowns, or the leader of the Crowns, which was another organization who Fred was trying to connect with, came in and was like, you know, we're here to help. And what was the young man's name? The light-skinned man with the glasses? Bobby Rush. Bobby Rush was in there with Bill when he was, you know, right after everything happened. They went to go kind of look at the damage. They walked inside, and a couple of young boys came walking in off the street asking what they can do to help. And, you know, at this time, Bill's like, you know, this is over, this is whatever. He was over it. And Bobby was like,
he gave the little boys some money, some trash cans.
Like,
you know?
that's how you rebuild.
You know, you start with it was so symbolic and it was metaphoric. You know, it was like, that's how you rebuild, you know. The young generation. They're going to be ones to rebuild this, you know, get them involved, you know, literally and figuratively. This going to be the way to rebuild it. So that was a dope scene. But Bill, like you said, his conscience would kill him. He just was like, okay, he could get out now. You know, he ain't got to do no more damage, you know, because the place is burned down, their spirits are gone, Fred is in jail. Let's end this right now. Nah, their spirits was too strong for that. it wasn't happening. They rebuilt.
Fred comes home, finds out that his girl's pregnant. Shout out to Deborah.
Got Fred Jr. in there.
And so in the midst of him rebuilding, and I should have said this earlier, but I thought it was so dope how the FBI agent was really trying to convince Bobby that, the Black Panther Party is just like the KKK, is the equivalent. And really that's how the media spins everything. Put you in the mind frame of these people being the same as the KKK. And we know how horrible the KKK is. And so I really appreciated the portion of scenes where it showed Fred, going to these different places. He walked up on like a KKK meeting,
He did. I forgot about that scene.
He walked up in it.
Guys, I don't know. I think they were on the south side of Chicago, because back then the south side of Chicago was predominantly white. So
and racist.
Yes, Lord. So let's go back, to 68, 69 maybe. And you are the chairman, because they called Fred the chairman. They rarely called him Fred, I don't think. They called him chairman.
Yeah. And
the chairman, him and his crew, they went to the south side of Chicago and they went into this meeting. And the meeting...
And they just walked up in there like...
They did. It's free country,
big old Confederate flag.
Yes, the Confederate flag just chilling on the wall right here, and it's like a sea full of white. They walked into one of them, and it just really showed that we have more in common than what you think.
Yep. Because
Don't look at this.
Initially, one of the guys kind of jumped up and was like real territorial with it. But when Fred got to talking and breaking it down, he pointed out the fact that the police are doing y'all the same way they're doing us.
Exactly.
It's not us, it's the police.
Right.
Or the pigs, as they called them. And the more he talked, the more that the camera kind of panned the room, and you can literally see just
the body language.
Because
at first it was real defensive, like,
yeah,
what is he doing here? Like, what are they doing here? And then as he began to talk, and they were like, okay. And then they just started to ease up a little bit, and then they just started listening to him and looking at him,
Yep. He also went after the Latinx community. And so when he came back from jail.
The Crowns.
Yeah.
The Crowns too.
So when he came back from jail and he walked into this room, all these people, like, it's not just when you think of Black Panther supporters, you think of Black people. But Absolutely. It wasn't just Black people. It was everybody who realized that he wasn't a terrorist.
Right.
He was literally doing this for the people.
I don't know. He spoke from the soul. You can feel like he had that Martin Luther King, like, or Tupac rap. It was weird. It's like you can feel him, And man, listen, when I say Daniel acted his butt off in that role, now mind you, Daniel is from the UK, so he has a strong British accent. He kind of sounds like Idris Elba. So imagine him coding that British accent just to swap it to a guy from the west side of Chicago. And people from the Chicago they have a certain accent as well. And then you take one that's a public speaker that has its own way of pronouncing words and twisting words. Take that and then combine that with your British accent. You're covering that up, all while staying in character. Is amazing to me. That is amazing. He acted his butt off. He
really did do a good job.
I didn't know too much about Fred. I just knew about him from a Jay-Z lyric on a Watch the Throne album. That was it. I knew about Huey and I knew about Bobby Seale, but I didn't know too much about Fred. So to see this and see that side of him and see how well it was acting and how well it was put together, and to know that Bill being a mole was a real thing. Like they show you the real Bill at the end, which itself is a cliffhanger itself. Wait till y'all see what happens at the end. And I'm not gonna say
the end was tragic.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say how or what happened to Fred, but what happened to Fred was so foul, guys. Like
on so many different levels.
So many levels, yo. It hits your heart. It hits your heart. Like they had that much fear in that man. Well, from that man, that they want to go to that extent. Like really?
Ultimately, I think it was an amazing movie. I really like even how I have this thing where I don't like how a lot of producers or directors in the movies, they build you up and then they kind of like drop you, and I don't like that. Yeah. But this movie was not like that. I really appreciated the closure that I got from it. I appreciated all of it. I would personally give it a 10.
Oh yeah, Big Boy 10. This is definitely 10. These was 2 great. The Biggie documentary was dope. This movie was even doper. And big shout out to the Queen Regina King. She directed this movie, guys. Wonderfully directed.
Yeah.
Dope.
And I don't even think that there were any plot holes that I
can't think of none. I cannot think of any.
And we're usually quick to find plot holes.
I'll be looking. You know, we've trained our brain to look for it. We got to a point where we notice and just keep going. We don't let it take away from the movie that much, you know.
Yeah.
But this one, I can't find anything. Like, it was well acted. The plot was, it wasn't too much to stretch on the plot because it was real life. So the real life plot gave you all the juice, all the steak and potatoes. You just had to add some flair to it, and you got a movie. You know, that's how real this was. And this happened in real life. This is crazy that this really happened. This ain't a movie script.
The sad part is it's not too far off of what's still happening today.
Facts.
Go watch it. Netflix. How long was it?
It was about 2 hours. 2 hours.
Was it?
Yeah. That movie was 2 hours. 2 hours ain't long to me.
It's long to me, but that movie didn't seem long.
Yeah, it's not gonna seem that long, but it was a good movie. I give it a 10. I vouch for it. I recommend it. You won't be let down. I think every person of any color should watch it because it wasn't a white bashing movie. Like when you hear Black Panther, you think it's about hate white, hate this white, hate that white. That wasn't it. This is a good movie to show you what the Black Panther was really about. They were about minding their business and bringing the black culture up. Yep. It was the policemen that got involved that made it seem like they was this other group. That wasn't it.
What a freaking message.
That wasn't it. That was not it. So yeah.
Go watch it.
For sure.
And that's all the reviews that we have for you guys this evening. Now, for those of you that have watched our previous videos, we recommend for you to recommend movies to us, or documentaries, or shows, or whatever. Because actually, we weren't planning on this, but we kind of binge watched the Bernards. What is it called?
Oh! Guys, run to Netflix.
Run
real quick. It's a show on there called, oh God, this is all real, baby. Look it up.
I'm about to look it up right now.
It's a show about a funeral home, a black-owned funeral home in Memphis, Tennessee. When I tell y'all this show is hilarious, guys.
Buried by the Bernards.
Buried by the Bernards. Oh my God, guys. This my favorite character.
Uncle Kev.
Uncle Kev. If y'all don't feel Uncle Kev, you can't vibe with you, yo. Uncle Kev is hilarious to me.
So we literally just turned this on one night on some random background noise needed type stuff. Exactly. And it turned out like both of us stopped like, wait a minute.
Hold on.
What is
Because
this?
it catches you instantly. It catches you instantly and you just can't stop watching it.
And it's only 8 episodes 30 minutes long, if that. I think
long,
like 24. Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Get out my head. But yeah, something like that. But it's super dope. It's super dope, hilarious.
Guys. Watch it.
I really am so disappointed that there's only one season.
Yes. Watch it, guys. You won't regret it. It's a good thing.
Reagan is the youngest daughter. She's going to college. Shout out to Reagan. If you need financial aid assistance, college. You probably don't need it because you know y'all. Anyway, those earrings you had on in the last episode, girl, I need those. I was looking them up and I couldn't find them. They are dope.
Anyway, watch the show, guys. Wait a minute. Watch the Biggie documentary, 10 out of 10. Watch Judas and the Black Messiah, 10 out of 10. And watch Buried by the Bernards, 10 out of 10.
So yeah, watch all of these. Comment below. Let us know what you thought of them. Also, if you have any recommendations, by all means, drop them. We already have 2 on our list. Shout out to
my sister, Nakia. Shout out to my big cousin, Kiki.
Shout out to both of them for adding stuff to our list to watch.
We own it. We own it.
Our list is just really, 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 really long.
Yes, it's a deep list, guys.
And it keeps getting longer.
It does. Like, we add stuff to it every day just to, that'll be a good review. You know, like we stuck in that train now, that mode that everything we watch is going to be a review. So
with these 9 to 5s or whatever hours we working right now, it's just preventing us from being able to do what we got to do. So,
exactly. So
like, comment, share, subscribe.
That's worse. You know, we try to do, if we can do this full time, guys, we give y'all this every other day. Just pop them out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So tell a friend.
To tell a friend.
Exactly. If you any family groups, send that link to the family. If you any Facebook groups, send that link in the Facebook Messenger group, Instagram group, TikTok groups. I don't know if they have TikTok groups. Send the links.
Make sure you tag it with #Team Ashes.
So I'm not trying to make this video long, y'all, but I won on the high. You know, everybody team move. I've been seeing the comments.
Man, whatever. Your people, that's not fair.
My people real. Your people fake. I don't know what they on.
You're right, they are fake. Because my people are turning against me and going to you, and I don't like it. I need help, y'all. I need help.
My soldiers stuck with me. Your girls, they turned on you. Someone who turned on
my
you.
My brothers.
I didn't even want to get into the family thing. You know what I'm saying?
We'll catch y'all next time.
See y'all later, guys. And cut.